So Molly was worried about the climate. There's sort of this environmental message sprinkled in at the very beginning, and we find out Arboleva is also like a doctor to the wild Pokemon. So Liko gets the idea that they should attempt to restore the forest. And they have a surprising amount of knowledge about agriculture. Then Freed decides Captain Pikachu should be the only electric type in Paldea. He starts by eliminating a Magneton, which also restores reception in the area. They struggle to make the crops grow because Paldea doesn't have much rain this time of year. And Landlow appears with a Quagsire, which uses Rain Dance. So Arboleva fixes the forest up, and it's like, you really couldn't have just done that from the start? I mean, I guess it had a lot of prerequisites. Immediately, Liko's pendant starts glowing, and Terapagos appears again. Arboleva's like, "What's up?" and engulfs Liko and Roy in an orb. In the midst, some shadowy figure tells them that they need to search for something. Then Arboleva returns itself to the ancient Pokeball, and it won't budge. It's kind of odd to me that Roy gets the ball. It sort of feels like Liko should have gotten it, in my opinion. It also turns out the gang is being watched. Later on, Freed starts doing some research when Liko's mom appears. And I'll say it, Liko's mom has a way cooler design than Delia. She reveals that the ball was from that ancient explorer whose name is Lucius. They stumble across an old storybook that Liko reads aloud. 100 years ago, Goth Rayquaza was stalking someone, a delicious human dinner. That walking dinner then befriended some strong Pokemon and headed for the end of the world. Whatever that means. He then stumbled upon paradise and named it Arby's. And they sat for the rest of their days telling ghost stories. That was the ancient explorer. Those 6 legendary Pokemon with him were referred to as heroes, and Roy decides to catch them all. It turns out Liko's mom doesn't know much about the pendant, and tells them to ask Liko's grandma and Galar. Liko's dad tells her that that book was only fiction. But it seems like the writers are clearly giving us a wink here. Her mom leaves without seeing her, as to not influence Liko, and let her choose her own path. And she chooses to head to Galar, the crew's next destination, with this man determined to get the pendant from her. This was a talky, here's the plot of the series episode, and maybe a necessary one. But the Arboleva fixing the forest stuff felt kinda lackluster to me. Overall, I'd say this one gets a C.